to go live. Watch for the.
Hey, we are live, and Scott was helping us, though.
That's right.
So, have you ever wondered whether it's worth your while to get a personal guarantee on a loan?
Huh.
We'll let you know right after this. Hi, folks. Thank you so much for joining us on the Real Estate Investor Show, Hard Money for Real Estate Investors. I'm Bill Fairman. This is Wendy Sweet Jonathan. Doesn't like us, so he's hanging out in another room.
Actually, it's the last day of the month, and
It's the last day of the month. We got to get
It's also the last day of the quarter.
Yeah.
Quarter in, month in. It's a big.
It's called
day,
earnings season now, where everyone has to talk about their earnings for the past quarter. So we are Carolina Capital Management. We are lenders for real estate investors in the Southeast. If you're interested in borrowing money, go to carolinahardmoney.com and click on the Apply Now tab. If you are a passive investor looking for passive returns, click on the Accredited Investor tab. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell, and don't forget to sign up with Wednesdays with Wendy. Wendy gives up 30 minutes of her time every Wednesday, not just per person.
Actually, 6 hours worth, but
yeah, per person to talk about anything real estate. Here's a link to her calendar. She's usually booked out a couple of months in advance, so go ahead and get on the calendar.
And actually, we did not lock Jonathan in his room. That is a self containment that he put himself in to take care of business today. Thank you for your sacrifice, Jonathan. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. No, like we said earlier, yeah, it's a quarter end, month end, and this has been a great quarter, great month, and just want to make sure that we get everything across the finish line that we're supposed to.
That's right. Awesome.
In case you're wondering, that is not shiplap on his wall. Jonathan, you know how styles, kind of go around?
Yeah, like grass cloth paper.
Yes. So
it's coming back in.
When we bought this building, it had 1980s grass cloth paper, and Jonathan loved it, so he wanted to keep it.
I think it's 70s.
It is 70s.
Right.
Yeah, it didn't even make it to the 80s. It is 70s, and it looks awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, if you say so.
He is. He's a decorating guru. Have you seen how he rearranged his office?
Yes, I did.
Good. Looking good, Jonathan.
It's much more functional. Okay, enough about us.
Yeah.
Let's talk about us.
Okay.
Let's talk some more about us.
That's right. So what's on your mind?
Well, let's let's get to some we'll call it breaking news, because that's what our little highlight thing says.
That's right.
Breaking news. So it's not necessarily breaking, but it is the news of the week and the day. Let's talk about unemployment claims. New claims were at 375,000, which is a little more than they expected. Continuing 2,800,000, which is a little bit below what they expected. But these numbers have been virtually the same now for how long, Jonathan? I mean, these numbers have almost been identical.
It's growing mold
for the
6 months.
Yeah, easy.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
And they're going to continue to do this, because you're going to have all these people that are going to lose their jobs for not getting the vaccination throughout the areas that are requiring it.
Some counts are down, like all the COVID counts are down in both North and South Carolina. That's a good thing.
That's beside the point.
That's
Freddie Mac actually.
I'll interrupt you, Bill, but it's a big win for us. I mean, our 8-year-old has not missed any school this year. So
That's awesome.
in person. So that's a big
That's
deal.
right.
Well, that is always good,
Yeah.
especially for your wife. 'Cause-
Well, and the test scores for schools are just off the charts terrible from what they've tested from last year. So it was almost like last year was a wash for everybody.
Well, you know, I'll brag on my daughter. She they did the test for her and she scored where they want the kids to be at the end of this year, and most of the other kids in the class are below where they should have been at the end of last year. And
Chip off the old block.
oh man, well, most of that credit goes to my wife for homeschooling. So that was good.
That's awesome.
Well, I've been tested too, but it's just to see if I'm crazy or not.
And he failed it.
You know, the Fed chair announced that inflation may last longer than they thought.
Oh, that's it.
I saw that. It's going to be a little bit more longer transitory than we thought, and it's like, can you just drop the word transitory? It's like
Big one.
you know, we're going to have transitory inflation for the next decade. It's like, what?
Mhm.
I don't know if that works.
Well, it is a transition. It's just over a long. It's more like a glacial transition.
That's not melting.
So obviously that caused some rates to go up a little bit, and so Freddie Mac, their 30-year fixed rate mortgage is all the way up to 3%.
Oh, that's it. The boom's gonna stop.
So as I'm listening to the business shows, I'm just giggling because they're saying, "Oh yes, now that rates are up, prices are going to come down."
Yeah.
Because people aren't going to get rid of their houses, or they can't afford the new houses, and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, it's 3%, people.
Yeah.
It's still very affordable, and there are some people that are speculating that prices, home values, will start coming down, which we all know is a bunch of crap. You might lower your asking price, but you're not going to be lowering values. It may lower the rate of appreciation, but we're not going to see values go down.
Yeah, and I think terms are going to change more than anything. And by that, I mean, who's going to end up paying closing costs? Are there going to be seller credits available for things that may need to be repaired? You're not getting as many multiple offers on a house as you were previously. It's so those kind of terms are going to change.
Well, they can always
bit.
come back out with the 40-year term too.
Yeah.
If they need to.
Yeah, that would be wise.
Well, listen, most people don't keep 30-year mortgages. It's just the payment term.
Yeah.
Most people are going to move or refinance or do something. So you can put them for 50 years. It doesn't really matter.
Well, you know, the other thing that's interesting too is Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae have kind of backed off of reducing the amount of investor mortgages and second mortgages in their portfolio. So they're now allowing more and buying more. I think they realized that was a big mistake to run away from the investor world because they're the ones that are paying.
Yeah.
So,
They're the ones paying, even though the moratoriums have negatively affected them the most.
That's exactly right. Well said. Well said. That's exactly right.
okay, one more piece of great news.
You're so exciting, Bill.
I am. No, I'm so excited. Nothing
Calm
exciting
yourself, Bill.
about me.
Easy.
Our GDP for the second quarter, they did the final reading for the second quarter, and it was at 6.7%. This is a little bit late in the game, but it's up a full percentage point higher than their first reading. Again, this is rearward facing. So I see things slowing down because we have inventory issues. And then with the D variant, there was a lot of places closed or not having much traffic. I know that Bed Bath & Beyond changed their forecast going forward. they can't get anything and no one's showing up at their stores.
Well, that's what I'm really wondering, how we're really going to be affected. Somebody posted on Facebook page this morning a picture of a Sherwin-Williams store, and the shelves literally were empty. There might have been 2 or 3 cans of paint where there once were hundreds of paint to choose from. And it's just the supply chain is off the chain. There's nothing going on. And I wonder how much longer that's going to last. I mean, it's affecting everything in our construction world. It's affecting everything.
Yesterday, I was looking at a fishing website, and they had 2 new spinning rod additions to their menu, so to speak. And
Obviously, he's wasting his time, Jonathan.
I didn't say I was doing it during work.
But we know you were.
But I could have been. So anyway, it said there's these 2 rods, and it says new, big picture, new. You click it on, out of stock.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Yeah.
And you're probably going to notice that on Amazon items too. You're going to see stuff that's either out of stock, or they're going to have shipping delays.
Oh, Christmas trees. I hear you need to go out and buy your Christmas tree if you're going to do a fake one.
It's the Christmas tree lobby.
Yeah.
I mean, and I've been trying to buy a dryer. Well, on a washer dryer set, you can get washers, which is not really what I need. I need a new dryer, but I can't get a dryer.
Wow.
It's nuts.
Wow.
You're going to have to do it the old-fashioned way. You have to put up a
clothesline.
I just tie it to my kids' bicycles and just let them go through the neighborhood.
That's smart.
That's the quick dry.
Okay, so that's the breaking news.
That is it. Okay, that's all you got.
Yeah, pretty much.
Awesome,
But we do have 2 ugly questions that I'd like to go over.
Okay.
So it's time for the ugly question.
Awesome.
And those of you who are listening to the audio podcast, that was the ugly questions falling from the sky.
Hope no one got hurt.
Hey, and don't miss the question, Connor.
Yeah, I'm looking at that right now. Connor has a question. Any advice on the best? There we go. The best supply chain. Oh, well, that's any advice on how to adjust for the supply chains when approaching remodels? Order way in advance. That's really the only thing you can do, right?
Yeah, I mean, typically
avoid custom items as much as you can, and in advance.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, that's the only thing you can do. Go ahead and order everything and hope that it shows up when it's time to put it in.
Yeah, I mean, we're limited to even colors of vinyl siding that can be used. There's going to be a lot of gray and white houses everywhere. There's no more color out there.
Yeah,
it's all gone.
You are going to be limited to the stuff that's the most popular or the most used. So if it's white, you'll probably be able to get it.
That's right.
If it's an off color, probably not.
Yeah.
I mean, I had the same problem when I was redoing our deck, the lattice around it. I'm getting vinyl, so I don't have to paint it. And guess what? I have to paint the vinyl because I can't get the color that matches the stain.
Yeah, so that's a double cost of what you're having to do.
Yeah, but I still don't have to worry about it rotting.
Yeah, that's for sure. It's that only thing is to order way in advance. I'm rehabbing 3 houses right now. Yes, 3. And my contractor is driving to, he's an awesome guy, and I'm not giving any of y'all his name, but he's driving to all of these different wholesale companies that buy items from, closeouts from Lowe's and Home Depot and all those places. He's driving to them every other day just to check to see what's coming in, to see if he can grab, interior doors, appliances, cabinets, all kinds of stuff. He's just grabbing what he can. Windows is a big thing, trying to find windows that fit. I mean, now it's almost better just to buy the windows that you have and either close them up or open them up so they fit into the holes you got.
Other things you can do is you can drive by your restore. Your
Habitat. Mm-hmm.
if you, as long as you have a place to store some of this stuff, there's good items that are in there that you can do some tweaking to yourself. Cabinets, vanities, all kind of stuff that are going to be in there.
Because a lot of people have remodeled, so those stores are loaded up with good stuff.
You're probably not going to get appliances that are stainless, but if you want to stick with the white,
Actually,
I'm sure you can find stuff.
White appliances are the hardest ones to find right now.
Really?
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on. Hope that helped answer your question. So the question is, I've heard some seasoned lenders say that they always require a personal guarantee from their borrowers. Some say it's not necessary. What do we think?
Well, personal guarantees are pretty much worthless in most cases. Jonathan's cracking a smile over there.
Always the saying is, all personal guarantors have one thing in common. They don't
What's
pay.
that?
They don't pay. And it's not that they wouldn't pay on the loan. It's that if you have to rely on your personal guarantee, the time, effort, and money that it will take to enforce that most times outweighs the benefit, because you can freeze bank accounts and stuff like that, but typically, unless there's like fraud or something like that, odds are if the project has failed and your guarantor isn't paying you, they don't have any money. So freezing their accounts is probably not going to recoup your your losses.
Right.
So, there are a lot, like, it allows a lot of leverage, allows a lot of different maneuvers that you can do legally, and it's also it's a psychological factor as well. But I've only seen a personal guarantee in the last 10 years pursued once, and it ended up costing more to pursue to get that the money recouped from the personal guarantor than if they would have just walked away from the deal and cut their losses.
Yeah. Best case scenario, you can put, liens across whatever they own. And, if they go to sell something, you might get a piece of that.
Yeah.
But you're exactly right. So why doesn't everybody offer non-recourse loans in that case? Because that's really the point, right?
Let me throw my 2 cents in there.
Okay.
When you're doing high loan to value loans, you're going to have more reason to have the personal guarantee.
That's right.
Because they don't have enough cushion in that deal to recoup losses.
Mm-hmm.
Most of it is institutional investors and banks that are requiring this, just because they want to be able to cover all their bases if a deal does go south. When you're dealing in loans like we do,
Mm-hmm.
we have enough cushion, and the only time we would ever pursue somebody for a personal guarantee is if they maliciously damaged and took stuff out of the property that they shouldn't have, and again, purposely. And really, are we going to get any money out of it? No, we're doing it for spite, because they were being butts, and we're going to be a butt right behind them.
Yeah,
That's the only
eye for
reason
an
you
eye, tooth for a tooth.
Well, that's the only thing. If someone does that, slapping judgments, liens across all their properties. Here's the thing: is there things that we can do to make your life very difficult with if you sign a personal guarantee and you're malicious about how you exit the property? Yeah, absolutely. We can file judgments, liens in every county that you do business in. We can pay an attorney to freeze all the bank accounts that are tied to those LOCs, even your personal accounts. Yeah, we could, will that stop? Like, is that the end all be all? No, we live in a world where there's always ways around things, but we could make it very, very difficult. And that's one of the things you have to quantify as the lender is, is going to that level to make it difficult for that person going to make the deal more equitable for you as the lender. And that's the thing you have to weigh. It's pros versus cons. Can I pursue something that will result in a higher yield, or if I pursue this, will it result more often in a lower yield? And that's the thing you have to weigh. And personally, I'd rather have to weigh that option than not have that option to weigh. So
I just collect. I just
always
collect
get a
poop
personal
from the
guarantee.
farm. Yeah, you're right. I just collect poop from the farm and mail it to them in a nice little package.
Yeah. Well, as a lender, one of the sayings that I like is, as a lender, we like options, not obligations.
Mm-hmm.
So if I do a non-recourse loan, I am obligated to not be able to pursue you. If I do a full recourse loan, I have the option to pursue you. So
Right.
when you are setting something up, I will say it again, give yourself options, not obligations.
Right.
And,
Right.
and
Well
at the
said.
same time, if you're a borrower and you're concerned about being personally responsible, I wouldn't worry too much about it. Again, the only time you're ever going to be pursued is if you've done something malicious. And if you don't intend to be a butthead and do stuff that's malicious, then there's not really any worry. In our business specifically, if you're doing conventional loans where you're at 95% loan to value, you're going to have to sign it regardless. And you may have somebody that would pursue that. But again, as long as you're not being malicious in how you leave the property,
Right.
You don't have to worry about a personal guarantee. It costs them more money than it's worth in the first place.
That's right. Malicious means don't go dark, have
Yeah,
communication,
Um,
all of that good stuff, right?
yeah, we're running out of time.
Okay.
So let's do our second question, which I can't remember what it was. Well, there it is. Is a lender in second position? When is it?
When is lending in second position okay to do? And what should a lender do? What should a lender require of the borrower to protect their principal?
The best time
I'll choke
to
up
be in
about
second position is when you're also in first.
it. Or when you know who's in first position and you have the availability or the option to be able to take first position over.
Right.
Having a relationship with the first position holder, I think, is really, really important, whether it's you or whether it's somebody you know.
Not to
My
mention,
sense is it really bothers me that principal is misspelled. That's the wrong kind of principal. But
I didn't even notice.
so
Good thing he was homeschooling.
that said, what should you require from the borrower to make sure that your principal is paid? They make their payments.
Yeah.
You require them to make their payments. I don't know how to answer that, frankly. There's not really anything you can do to guarantee other than making sure that your loan to value stays low enough to where if you do have to foreclose, there's enough cushion
Yeah.
to recoup all your money.
And that's really important. If you're in second position behind, somebody like us that's at 70%, if you're in second position behind us, don't go any higher than 75 or 80% in that second position. And even 80% is scary to be there because that last 20% can disappear really quickly. Real estate commissions, closing costs, unpaid interest, renewal fees, all kinds of things. It can disappear really quick.
That said, you're a fly in the ointment if that house is being sold. So you will get your money. If it goes into foreclosure, maybe not, but if the house is sold, you're getting money.
Yeah. What were you going to say, Jonathan?
Well, yeah. So when you lend in second position or any junior lien position, you want to look at combined loan to value, your CLTV. So you want to take the positions in front of you, add them to whatever amount that you're wanting to potentially lend, and see what that total loan to value would be, that combined loan to value. You're 100% right. Yeah. I mean, when you get above 80% on investment loans, it gets a little scary because here's the thing. I mean, when you get that high up and you turn a property into a distressed property, that 20% is gone.
Right.
You know, the reason once a property moves from like you know, end user buyer like retail and it goes to distressed, 10 to 20% of the value is gone. It's shaved right off immediately,
Right.
because no one wants to pay retail for a distressed property.
That's right.
And then the other piece would be, I would advise anyone, if you're lending in a junior lien position, only do so if you have the wherewithal to take out the first lien.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't do that, you stand the potential of losing, you know, being extinguished out through a foreclosure action. I mean,
That's
nothing's worse than, even if you're at a 60% LTV, nothing's worse than the first foreclosing, and you can't do anything about it. You have no ability to, you know, to buy the first out, and then it goes to, you know, to sell, and it clears the first, you know, it just clears the first lien holder's bid amount. Well, now you get nothing.
You lost all your money. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
again, you know, if you're lending in second lien position, I would advise only doing so if you have the ability or the wherewithal to take out the first.
That's right.
Lastly, this is very important too. Check to make sure if you're in a super lien state as well. And what that means is an HOA can foreclose in a super lien state on someone that didn't pay their dues, and they don't have to inform either the first or second mortgage holder in order to
Take
that house to
Yeah.
foreclosure.
That's
And
not
both
good.
of you get wiped out.
Yeah.
So
That's not good.
I would check that first before I did anything.
Awesome. We were out of time.
All right. Yep. We are out of time. Don't forget, we have a show coming up at 1:00 this
Jeff Watson's
afternoon.
back. Jeff Watson's back. Tell us
Jeff
about the
is
IRA.
coming back to talk to us about what actions have taken place so far
Right.
on the IRA legislation that is coming up. So
don't
don't
wanna
miss
miss
it.
it.
There's
Yeah.
a link to it right there. What else? Anything new?
That's it.
Thank you guys for joining us. We really appreciate it. This is the Real Estate Investor Show. Hard money for real estate investors. We are Carolina Capital Management. We are lenders for real estate investors in the Southeast. If you are interested in borrowing any money, go to carolinahardmoney.com and click on the Apply Now tab. If you're a passive investor looking for passive returns, then click on the Accredited Investor tab. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell, and sign up with Wednesdays with Wendy.
And we'll see you at 1:00.
Yep, shortly. Take care.
Thanks so much.